Here we go. All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of Crizzybooks, the maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly, maybe whenever I feel like it. I don't really know what to call it, but last week I did my monthly wrap-up. Just went through everything that I did for the month, what I'm going to read next month, all of that good stuff. And I really like the way that it turned out. More than any of the others that I've done in the past, and the response from people was also, confirming that. Confirmation bias, it doesn't take anything for me. I need like one person to just validate me, and I'm like, yeah, that's right, it was perfect. But the response was good. I liked it. I kept it more informal. I didn't edit it as much. I'm sorry, my allergies are horrible right now, so I'm going to be like... I don't know what's going on. I don't want this channel to just be me talking about books 24/7. That's a majority of what I'm going to talk about, and I'll probably find ways to link things back to the books, but I like talking about other stuff too, so I figure I'll get on here maybe once a week, once every other week, and do something similar, and just talking about kind of the past week or whatever I'm thinking about. It's a podcast. I started a podcast accidentally, and I hate myself for that. I am the type of person who thinks that it should be harder to get podcasting equipment than it is to get a gun. But here I am doing it. So thanks for watching. I've just been like writing down like all week, just like things that I think of or things that I've done, and I'm just gonna talk about it. Starting off with last weekend, the Royal Rumble was last weekend. If you are a pro wrestling fan like me, you probably knew that the Royal Rumble was on. I don't like WWE. I think that it's just not really for me. I think that product, it's for babies. I just think it's kind of boring. It's just not for me at all. I like other wrestling promotions and other styles of wrestling, but the Royal Rumble, I caught like the actual Rumble part, and it was like, I don't know. I think I watched for probably 30 minutes, like the back half. And I think in the 30 minutes that I watched, 10 to 15 minutes of that was just dudes in the ring staring each other down. That was all it was. I usually tune into like the bigger pay-per-views just to see what's going on over on that side and to remind me why I don't watch it. So that was, well, it wasn't fun, but it was something I did. I also saw the movie Presence, Steven Soderbergh, Ghost movie, and it was pretty good, decent. Didn't love it, but not a bad movie. I think the biggest thing for me was like the acting was weird. Like I thought that the mom, if you've seen it, I thought the mom or the daughter and the dad, I thought they did really well acting wise. But then the mom, which is Lucy Liu, who like is a pretty well known actress. I'm not like familiar with everything she's been in, but like her and the son, their acting was like really not good. And so it kept like taking me in and out of the story. But I thought that it's a ghost story, and it's shot from the perspective of the ghost, which I thought was really interesting. And I haven't really seen anything like that before. I thought it was pretty cool. Not scary. Maybe like 5 seconds of the movie are actually scary. I'd give it a shot if you have nothing better to watch. I also saw The Brutalist. I saw a lot of movies this week, but I saw The Brutalist, and it was really good, really good. Definitely worth seeing in theaters. If you can go and see that movie in theaters, I would, just because of like, a lot of what it has to do with is the main guy, Adrian Brody's character, is a exiled immigrant from Budapest, and he is also a brutalist architect. And so one of like the main plot points is that he's building this big building for this rich guy, in his brutalist style. And so you get to, on the big screen, you kind of get to really see a lot of the details and the scale of things. It helps with that. But yeah, it's a beautifully shot movie, beautifully acted, colored, like everything about it. It's like one of those like really meticulously done movies where like all the details are just right. Loved pretty much everything about it. until like the end. The last like 10 minutes were so tonally different and off from the rest of it that I was like, what the hell was that about? But regardless, still really, 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 really good. And then I saw Companion the other night. And so far, I think Companion is the best movie I've seen this year. I loved it. If you know the director, he directed the movie Barbarian. I think he was also in The Whitest Kids You Know, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I thought it was great. The one thing that I like loved about it, and I'm hoping this isn't a spoiler, but like the trailer sets it up to be one thing. At least it kind of felt like. Really, it's just leaving a detail about the plot out. So you're not really understanding what's happening. But really early in the movie, that plot point gets revealed and you're like, oh, okay. You don't see that very often where like the trailer is kind of a misdirection or, intentionally like only giving you certain information to think that the movie you're about to see is one thing, but in reality it's something else. But also like if you could kind of piece things together, maybe you might understand. Like it's right there in your face, but it's also not. So I loved it. And I thought the movie was really well done. What's his name? Huey from The Boys, Jack Quaid. He's great. And Guillermo, if you watch What We Do in the Shadows, he's in it too. He kind of steals the show. I mean, the real star is the main girl. She's awesome. I don't know what else she's in, but she was great. Yeah, all around 5 stars. Loved it. Thought it was fantastic. It never like really let up with entertaining me and keeping me engaged in what was going on. Yeah, really good stuff. So yeah, those are all the movies that I saw, I think, last week. Let's see, what else do we got here? Thrifted books. Yeah, so when I first started my channel, so I like buying used books, and I like going to thrift stores. I like buying old crap that I don't need for really cheap. In the past, I used to sell vintage clothes online that I would buy at thrift stores before it was cool. Thrifting has been ruined. Macklemore started it. Gen Z killed it. Thrifting is not what it used to be. And I was one of the earlier people who was like, you know what? I love coming here, but I leave a lot of like stuff that I know is like valuable behind. Like I should just start buying like all these cool t-shirts that aren't my size for like $1 and I can sell them online. I was in college. It made me a lot of money. It was great. It was an awesome thing to do. Now every jackass online with a phone does it, and it sucks. It's not fun anymore. I don't do that anymore. Where I live, there is a Goodwill bins outlet, which is just this giant warehouse where they bring out these big blue bins, and it's full of like crap that's headed for a landfill from Goodwills, like all in the region. And it is gross, but I love it because you literally have no idea what you're going to find in these things. And some of the stuff that I have found is incredible. But anyway, I'll just show you what I got. Again, I used to make videos for this, but I don't know. I was kind of like, I don't know that I need to do a whole video about this. Like, it's fun for me, but whatever. I don't know if anybody really cares, but I'll do it now. So yeah, we got Lord of the Flies. That's kind of your old, classic grade school, middle school, Lord of the Flies. I don't have a physical copy. I really like that book though. Second Foundation, Asimov. Haven't read Foundation at all, but I mean, that cover's incredible. They do not make, like, the artistic value of that cover alone is better than 99% of the covers you'll see in a bookstore today. It's pretty crazy. The Big Sleep. This is on my list to read right now. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Who doesn't love a dose of nostalgia, right? Pretty cool. Not one, but 2 Edgar Allan Poe collections. This back one's like a I can't remember what it is, 19 something. I have another like Edgar Allan Poe collection book over there that's really old. And so, yeah, I guess now I'm just collecting Poe stuff. And then the last 2, we have The Sea Wolf in this really nice, this is Jack London, The Sea Wolf, in this really nice like bound leather copy. And from the same type of thing, we have Kim by Rudyard Kipling. I haven't read either of these, but I just thought that they were really cool. I really like this one a lot. It's got this kind of like, probably fake gold leaf on it, but it's still like, I love that illustration. That's amazing. Yeah, so that was what I got from the bins. Hell of a haul. Let's see, what do we got here? Rise and Fall of the Muppets. So I watched this guy on YouTube, or I found him. His name is Patrick H. Willems. Go check him out. He talks about film and movies, but he'll do like really deep dive analysis over certain things. I had watched one previously about like mega cities in movies, especially in like the late 80s and 90s. Like, think of like the Batman movies from the 90s and like how a city looked. That was like a real aesthetic at the time. I thought that was a super interesting one. And then it led me to this one that is called The Rise and Fall of Muppet Cinema. And I immediately clicked on it because I am a huge Henson head. I'm a Muppet head. I love, 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 love the Muppets. I have a Muppet that I made. I made this Muppet at the Jim Henson Muppet creation thing at FAO Schwartz in New York City. Yeah, I don't play around when it comes to the Muppets. I've got Muppet crap all over this room. Huge fan. And that video is super cool. It's such a interesting, like, he just goes through, the history of the Muppets and Jim Henson's role in bringing not just puppetry, but animatronics and like very practical effects and sets. And like there was if you go back to like mid 80s to like mid 90s, a lot of what was being done, especially in sci-fi, horror, fantasy, is very much because of Jim Henson and stuff that he was doing. And it's just fascinating and also sad because it's like that stuff's not really around anymore, and I love it so much. But then one of the things that he uses in this in the video is this book. Let's knock all that over. Is this book, the Jim Henson biography, which I read years and years and years ago, and it's pretty good. Like, it's fine. It's maybe a little too dense at times, and the author kind of makes excuses for Jim Henson in his personal life, which is really annoying because, well, Jim Henson is a creative genius and did a ton of amazing stuff. As a husband and a father, not exactly the best guy, which is kind of what you come to expect from somebody who's just like dedicated their entire life and like every cell in their body to this like one thing. But this is still really interesting. It talks about like The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth are like two of my favorite movies ever. Those movies like they made me who I am, and I'm obsessed with them. And it talks about like the creative process behind those and how he got them made and like them flopping and what that meant and like just their influence on everything. And yeah, it's really great. I really recommend not necessarily reading this, but at least going and checking that video out because it is so cool and so interesting. And yeah, I hate it that like CGI just runs everything. Like, it sucks. We need to find a way to have a good balance, and some directors do that, but a lot of what you see at the theater is just a CGI mess, and when you do that, it just, for me personally, it just takes me completely out of it because I might as well just be watching a video game cutscene. At that point, there's no stakes. We have people doing unbelievable things that could they would die in 2 seconds if this happened to them. But for some reason, we're going to pretend that they can do this thing and watch the giant CGI thing explode around them and they come out unscathed. It's all very stupid. I don't really like it, if you can't tell. But anyway, yeah, go check that out. It was really cool. Talking about the books that I read, I already I didn't talk about any of the books that I read yet. So last week on my monthly wrap up, I was reading Mickey 7. I finished Mickey 7 and I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. Tonally, I compared it to kind of Andy Weir, like The Martian, Project Hail Mary. It was in the same realm as those. It's not exactly like that, but it is in that like same type of area. And I liked it a lot. I thought it was very lighthearted while also being serious. Like it's fun. It was better than I expected, I guess, is what I mean to say, because like I just had never really heard of it. And I think more people should probably read it. I thought it was good. I recommend reading it. If you like sci-fi, if you like kind of more of fun, lighthearted sci-fi, I would definitely check it out. The next book on my list was Laws of the Sky. I don't remember where I heard about this book, but I heard it was kind of a more on the extreme horror side. It was okay. Like, I'm trying to think. I haven't really like thought about like what my real thoughts about this book are. Definitely not as extreme as I would have expected. Like there's some pretty like bloody and gnarly things that happen, but I feel like it was really short, which isn't a bad thing, but maybe didn't give me enough time to really care about what was going on. I also felt like given like the age of our main group of characters, what was being written and like their internal thoughts and everything did not match at all. Like not even close. And for me, that was like, wait, how old are these people? Like, I'm confused. And so it just felt like a little off. And it was just like one of those things where it's like, yeah, everybody dies. Like literally everybody dies. And like some people, it's like, why? So it's a little all over the place. It's a little messy, but ultimately like it was good. It wasn't like horrible or anything, but there is at the end, there is a pretty gnarly scene, that goes on for a little bit. And I thought that was pretty brutal. So that spiced it up towards the end. I don't know that I would recommend reading it, but plot wise, it's about a group of elementary kids who all go with some of their teachers and parents to go on a camping trip for a weekend out in the woods. That's the premise. From there, shit happens. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I recommend it or not. Definitely not a highlight so far of the month. Like out of the books that I picked to read this month, I'm the least excited to talk about that one. But after that, I started The Spirit, which is a Bigfoot book. Was really excited to read this. Bigfoot fiction is not really something that is easy to find. It's out there, but it's not easy to find. Like Bigfoot. I'm a Bigfoot fanatic, brother. I mean, like, check this out. See that? See that? See that? I'm not playing around, all right? The older I get, I don't know that I believe in Bigfoot, but I sure love the idea. And I love it's such an American like myth and legend. It's very American, and America doesn't have a lot of stuff like that. And so I feel like it's important to put a lot of emphasis on these types of cryptids or legends or monsters or whatever it is, because America needs stuff like that. That's how you create a real solid culture, is having things like that. And Bigfoot's just so cool. It's such a cool idea. So I'm reading The Spirit. It is a Bigfoot book, more in the horror realm. And I'm almost done with it. And it's a lot better than I expected. So I mean, here it is. It's an older, I think it was written in the 70s, like late 70s. But I've been surprised, like it seems, I think it's just like an old, like crappy, like horror pulp book. But, so I didn't expect too much out of it. And I definitely have like I'm like, like this stuff isn't good, but overall the story's been really interesting. And it takes like Bigfoot, like seriously. Like the author like clearly knew stuff about like real life Bigfoot evidence and is putting it in there. Again, I'm a Bigfoot head. I've seen like so many episodes of Finding Bigfoot. It's not even funny. Okay. And, so yeah, it's been pretty good. I'm surprised with it. But we'll see. Once I finish it, I might think differently. Video games. I always talk about video games in my monthly wrap up. This week in video games for me, I finished Control. And that was pretty good. I felt like the ending was a little flat. And you know, it was kind of rinse repeat towards at the finale of it, but overall a very fun game with a lot of cool mechanics. And you know, you're like telekinetic, you can like pick up rocks and throw them at people, or you can pick people up and throw them at other people. Like that's very fun. If you ever played Half-Life with the gravity gun, that's like your hand. It's cool. So that was a fun game. It was surprisingly good. After that, I started playing some other games. So I downloaded Ghost Runner and I started it. I didn't realize that was kind of like one of those games where it's like, make it through this zone. Don't get shot. If you get shot, you have to start over again. I didn't know that that's what kind of game it was. And I'm not in the mood to play a game like that right now. So I started it and then I like immediately stopped. So I'll play it again some other time. But then I downloaded, Nine Souls is on Game Pass. Which is kind of a, what do you call it? Metroidvania. I think it was inspired by Sekiro. I love From Software games. So I've been playing that, here and there, and it's pretty good. I think it's fun for what it is. I just love like side scrolling, you know, slash hack and slash games like that. I downloaded, Assassin's Creed Origins, the Egyptian one. I've played Odyssey, I've played Valhalla, and now I'm going to play this one, which is like weird because I actually played Valhalla first, then I played Odyssey, and now I'm going to play, like I went completely in this weird like backwards order. Love Valhalla. I don't care what any of the haters say. I think Valhalla is awesome. Odyssey was not as good. I know it came out before. I think like for the time, probably a great step in the right direction, but there was a lot that I was like, this is just boring. It's Assassin's Creed. What do you expect? Hopefully this one ends up being a decent, like kind of like in-betweener. We'll see. But yeah, so I figure I'll just waste my time playing that when I feel like it until the next Assassin's Creed comes out. I love Assassin's Creed games. I don't know what's wrong with me. I like them. I think they're good. There's just something in my brain that loves like, go to this spot, collect this thing, climb to top of tower, synchronize area, go do that 400 more times. I'm like, yeah, okay, I will do that 400 more times. I love it. That's all the video games I played. Let me see. Is there anything else? Oh, the new Jurassic Park trailer came out. And I was like, before that came out, I was like kind of excited. Because it sounded like maybe they might take it in like a little bit of a different direction. Silly me. Why would I think that? I'm a goofball. I'm a goofy for thinking something like that. There is no way they would ever do anything cool or interesting with that franchise ever. The first three are like, you know, I mean, 1 is amazing. 2 and 3 are like, that's fun to watch for like nostalgia purposes. I don't think they're bad. I grew up watching them, so, you know, whatever. But, when I watched the first Jurassic World movie and I was like, this stinks. Everything that makes the original so fun and interesting and cool is completely gone in this. And this kind of goes back to my whole like puppets, practical effects, animatronics, CGI. Like those movies are just CGI. Like they suck. They're not, there's just no soul to them at all. So I never watched any other ones. And the ones that came after that just seemed like, hey, remember this guy? He's back. Remember this person? They're in it too. Don't you want to see that? Make $1 billion. But yeah, this one sounded cool and interesting. And yeah, after seeing that trailer, I could care less. I don't care at all about this movie. It's just going to be more of the same. But one thing I saw, everybody's excited that they're going to do something from the book. So I read Jurassic Park like 12 years ago. And I want to reread it. It's on like my current list to read, and because I want to read it again because I don't remember anything about it. And I remember being like, like that was a book, but like I don't I remember nothing. And over the past like year or two, I've seen so many people who we have similar opinions about books and similar tastes, and they're all like, Jurassic Park's one of my favorite books, whatever. And so I'm like, maybe I need to reread it. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. So it's on my list to read. That's something. I guess that's kind of the week. That's the week. That's the end of this episode of Crizzybooks. I don't know what else to say, so I'll just end it here. How was your week? Did you see any good movies? Did you play any good video games? Did you read anything good? What was the best thing you read this week? Sound off in the comments below. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, thank you for watching. Bye.